Okay, sit comfortably. Today we're going to do some early in the class. We're going to see how different ways we can sit. All right, so and we'll do some twisting while sitting. So let's get into swastikasana today. All right, we always do the Ardha Padmasana and what do you call that? Sukhasana or full Padmasana. So today we're going to do swastikasana. So what I'm going to show you how to sit in swastikasana. Okay, it is there are just few details that you need to know which are other than normally sitting in sukhasana. Okay, so spread your legs out like this and then fold either right or left leg, whichever you feel comfortable with, and try to see if you can get 90 degrees here. Okay, so I normally fold my left leg first, so I'm going to do 90 degrees right here like that. Sit on a block that will elevate your pelvis, and then get the other leg under it and make sure both the legs have quote unquote 90 degrees. Okay, so that the heel is going to support this and the heel of this leg is supporting this leg. All right, so it kind of forms kind of a square almost. So swastikasana, because you know how we draw the swastik, you know, like this, and then you cross over like that. So the angles are 90 degrees, right? So this is cut off at 90 degrees, and so that your shins are crossing mid bone. Okay, so we sit like this and let it go, let it relax. I know initially it will probably stay like this, and then eventually your legs, by just by the gravity, it will settle down. Okay, all right, so let's sit in swastikasana. Make sure your hands, and then make sure your sit bones, so pull the skin under your sit bones out like this and pull this skin out like this. All right, so that you're just sitting on the sit bones, perfectly balanced, 90 degrees here, and then put your hands by the side like this. Okay, and then once you are comfortable here, push with your hands and raise your sternum up. Okay, you'll probably start noticing some differences in your posture already. Open up your chest, roll your shoulders back like we do the shoulder rolling like this. So roll your shoulders back and put your hands by the side, and don't push with your hands, just you're touching them. You know, you're just gently touching, but that'll raise your sternum up. Okay, now relax your shoulders, and now without changing anything, bring your hands to the heart center. There you go. And you can be in the Namaskar Mudra if you want to be. I prefer to be in the Anjali Mudra like this. So it's like an offering. So you just close the offering hands like this and then sit comfortably. Make sure your neck and spine is erect. Close your eyes. And the swastikasana down there might generate a little bit of stretched version of the posture. So just relax your thighs by just giving the thighs some attention. That's all it needs. There is nothing to be done throughout this 90 minutes in a typical class that I teach on Sundays. Please note the fact that we are really not doing anything. So I will never tell you to do something. It is always about observe. You find your mind and body in a certain pose. You find your mind in a certain state. You find the body in a certain position. That's all. So it's the matter of finding through awareness. So find your body here and now, sitting in this awkward position of swastikasana, but with this neck and spine erect. So just bring your attention to the thighs, to your knees, to your toes, big toes, shin bones, and take note of every little subtle and gross sensation down there. Just take note. That's it. And then move upwards to the pelvis. Realize how the sits bones on which you're sitting. Realize the pressure down there. Move upward to the tummy, to your entire torso, your chest. And observe that how the hands are touching each other. And things will relax as you start scanning the body upward, upward, upward. Come to the shoulder. And the moment you give attention to the shoulders will relax. Bring your attention to the crown of the head and think that you're doing abhishek, not with the water, but you're doing abhishek with your attention. Bring your attention to the crown of the head and start pouring your attention. Pail by pail, pour it at that crown. Pour one pail on it, and the attention will drizzle the entire body, entire head, entire scalp. It will trickle down to your forehead, to your ears, to the back of the neck. And in the interim, make sure everything is straight, your spine is erect, your Merudanda is perpendicular to the earth down there on which you're sitting. Bring gratitude to this mind and body system in which we reside. And let the attention come down to the eyes, the eyelids, the cheeks, the nose, the upper lip, lower lip, and the chin. And finally, let the tongue rest in the buccal cavity, into your lower jaw. And you're completely relaxed at this point in time. And take a deep breath. And today we're going to do Lagu Lahari Omkar. And what is Lagu Lahari Omkar? It's as though you're creating a siren that you hear sometimes in India, or, it's like it makes this kind of revolution. It is making a revolution around. And it makes this sound. So you're creating these waves of sound. So with that, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath again. Oh. Last one. Take a deep breath again. Sarvepi Sukhina Santu. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu. Ma Kashid Dukhamapnuyat. Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karvavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rub your palms together. And gently cup your eyes. Okay, so that was a little bit different start today than we typically do. So what is this Lagu Lahari Omkar? You know, you've seen this, the Buddhist bowl that they ring, right? With this wooden stick on it. And it just creates this Lagu Laharis. And, or if you go to a temple and ring the bell, and that bell just reverberates. So why are all these techniques developed by the mankind or the yogic rishis? Is just the answer is very simple, is to calm the mind down. We are trying to get into this different zone, and to enter into that zone of the temple, the zone of being alone. We are alone with your own practice, or if you might have a partner, but ultimately man is alone. Ultimately we are alone inside. No matter what we do, that loneliness doesn't go away. And the journey, the entire journey of yoga is from the loneliness to the aloneness. And if I can just elaborate a little bit on it, lonely is about longing for someone. You're longing for your partner, you're longing to meet your daughter, kid, wife, mother, brother, father, whoever. That longing, as long as that longing is there to meet someone, to be with someone, one can feel lonely. Okay, so the journey of yoga begins from there, from wherever we are. Okay, everybody's journey is different. Everybody is in a different place in the universe, in space and time. I always talk about space and time. So everybody's coordinates X, Y, and Z are different. So the journey, if you want to call it a journey, to be honest, there is really no journey. If you read Krishnamurti, he'll say, the pathless land. We call the truth as the pathless land. That means there is really no journey. We are here and now, and that's it. But we are so close. The existence of our own being is so close that we miss it. Just like a fisherman throws a net and catches all the fish out there, but he misses the one right there at his feet. That's what's happening with us. So now we're going to talk about Purusha. We talk about Prakriti and Purusha all the time. So what is this Purusha, right? So Pur means city, means town, means it could be a village, it could be a town, it could be a bigger city. And the words, you know, in India, the names for all these towns, Kolhapur, even Singapore, you know, all that ends with Pur, they're all about this city that they're talking about. And Purush is the Ish of that Pur. He's the guy who's the king of that particular town, is the Purush. And so the Purusha that we mention in this yogic system is that witnessing element in us. I always talk about the center and the circle in the center, right? That center is the Purusha. That's the Shiva. And that Shiva is basically emanating all of this energy like spokes that controls the entire existence out there. Now, whether you can take that into a galaxy, which is millions of light years across, or it could be just our simple body right here. So we are made of trillions of cells, trillions. Some people say there are 7 trillion. Some people say it doesn't matter. Even if 1 trillion, all those cells are being energized by that one center. So we talk about this Prakriti and Purusha. So we're going to, with this understanding in the mind, I have developed this idea about Sakshi Yoga. So what is Sakshi Yoga? Sakshi is the Purusha, the witnessing element that witnesses this hand movements right now, witnessing the mind talking to this computer, talking to all of you out there. And so with this understanding, we practice yoga here every Sunday. Is nothing matters, whether the body is flexible, inflexible, doesn't matter. What really matters is whether we can be the silent observer, whether we can be dispassionately, with equanimity, can we observe the system of the mind and body. That's what's important in these sessions, is to constantly observe what the mind body is doing, how that circle is being deformed in different poses. Sometimes you push the leg out, so the one corner of that circle goes out. Sometimes you're seated, centered, perfect. The circle just completes itself. If not, we are wiggling inside that circle. So think with this thinking, with this understanding, we call it the Swadhyaya. Swa-adhyaya, that means you're studying yourself using the self itself, right? Okay. All right, so let's get going with this. We are going to do our typical warm up, and then we'll see how we can push that circle around. And if we can maintain our awareness, so cross your hands, clasp your hands, crisscross your fingers, and turn them outwards. You may hear some clicking sound in your knuckles, and then breathe in and breathe out. Get a nice stretch. Imagine that you are the center. Imagine you are at the center of that circle. How is that circle? If I spread my legs out and I drew a circle from the center of my navel, which is the solar plexus right here, which is where 72,000 meridians, energy meridians, are all coming together here. We are connected with the umbilical cord. Before we are born, we are connected with this umbilical cord. Even after the doctor cuts that umbilical cord, the psychological umbilical cord is always there, through which they say, the system says that, through which we are still connected to the cosmos. Okay, so this is where the solar plexus is happening. So if I drew a circle from here, it reaches to the tip of my hand, the legs, and my head. So that's how the circle is. Let's just focus throughout our exercise today on the solar plexus. You know, just like we were sitting with the crossed leg, let's just sit here and observe everything what the mind and body are doing out there. Okay, so with that understanding, clasp the hands again and observe. We are stretching the circle. We are making that circle into an ellipse, if you will. And come down. And then this time you're going to open the hands with the Urdhva Hastasana. So put your hands on the side. And then go inhale. And look up and exhale. Keep your attention at the navel. Inhale again and exhale. Wonderful. Okay. So someone asked me yesterday, what is Ujjayi breathing? So every time you exhale, you constrict your epiglottis so that you can hear yourself breathing out. Okay. There's also a technique involved which you can hear yourself breathing in. You can do that too by keeping the epiglottis constricted. But let's practice first about exhalation, and then you can slowly get into the inhalation epiglottis idea. So if I normally do, I only can hear my nose. But if I constrict my epiglottis, you hear this melodious sound, right? So you can practice that. But right now, let's just practice exhalation through the nose, but exhalation with the epiglottis constricted. And you can practice that during your meditation, before the pranayam. It's also called the prana-karshan kriya. We also do the soham as we've done it in many other sessions. But today I'm just going to briefly touch on that. But let's just jog in the spot. So let's get our heart rate going a little bit. So you can jog very simply, bring your heels to your butts. See if you can touch the heel to the butt. You should be able to hear a sound of kicking your own butt. Breathe out through the nose. And then skip. And this should get the heart rate pretty high, and then stop. And put your hands by the side. And come to complete standstill. So all we did was we created a storm in the body. We created a storm in that sleepy town. And the center of that storm is the Purusha. And nothing touches that center of the storm. The heart rate is up. The breath rate is up. Everything is topsy-turvy. The whole town is kind of devastated. People are running around. And these trillions of people are running for their life, or they're excited. However we want to look at it. They could be dancing in joy that there is a rainstorm in the desert. And observe that completely detached. The Purusha is just witnessing. It doesn't express any emotion, any thought whatsoever. It just observes everything dispassionately with complete equanimity, because it has really nothing to do with the storm. There is no storm. And let the body, let the storm pass, and look at your own fingertips, how they're pulsating. Bring just the attention to the fingertips and you will see, you may experience the beating heart at every fingertip. And the body is swaying from left to right, back to forth, back and forth. And it may be drawing very small circles around the central spine. And the body is trying to gather itself. Everything is topsy-turvy, so the body is trying to gather itself. And again, this yoga session today is all about observing, as we typically talk about, but today we're going to intensify that. Okay, very good. So the body is now calm, the storm is gone, and then we're going to sit in Vajrasana and then do some head rolling. So drop your head down, put your hands on your knees, let the chin push against the chest. And then put your tongue to the roof of the mouth. And roll your head clockwise. You put your attention at the ball socket joint at the neck. That's where the movement is happening right now. And let your neck be loose. Don't try to restrain it. So if it wants to fall this way, let it fall. You've seen the air bob by the roadside, how that air bob is loose up there. So keep your neck really loose. You may hear some clicking sounds inside, and that's okay. And then go anti-clockwise. Keep your eyes closed. And remind yourself that we are sitting inside, calm and quiet. Let the mind and body do its thing. Remind yourself constantly. And who is reminding you, right? Who's reminding us? So that's another question, right? So when we say remind yourself to be at that center or remind yourself to be in the center, there is nobody who can remind that because nothing can reach that center, right? So idea is that the moment you realize that you wandered away, that very instant you come to the center. That very instant, there is nothing to be done. Okay, so we are done with this guy. Then let's just jerk. Look to the left. So these are some of the mudras, Brahma mudras, as they call it. Like this, the Brahma, the head of the Brahma that has these four faces, right? So we cannot go behind, but we can go to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. Okay, very good. And then we're going to take the neck joint right here, and we're going to push the face, just the face backward. So, you know, in the Bharatanatyam, you may have seen that these dancers, they do, you know, like this. So you pull yourself back, and then put your chin down. But you're not really looking down. You just pulled back, and then turn to the left, and then to the right. You may realize that different parts of the neck are getting stretched. Okay, so these are the mudras that we did. Okay, wonderful. Now let's come to the shoulder. Clasp your hands. And if you cannot sit comfortably in Vajrasana, what I suggest you take a block and then put that block in between the 2 feet and then sit on it. Now you can adjust the height of the block, either flat like this or this way, or, you know, however you want to feel comfortable. All right, so let's clasp your hands and then close your wings like this, and then just move the left shoulder. Just move the left shoulder joint. That's it. Nothing else should move. Don't loosen this grip. So this grip should be pretty tight. Okay, here. 5 times, and then go the other direction 5 times. Wonderful. And then let's do the right side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wonderful. So let's get up. And then get onto your mat. And then get into this circle, the Da Vinci circle. And then twist as much as you can, Make sure your feet are firmly grounded. All right, so again, we are keeping our body completely loose from the pelvis up. All right, so we're going to twist and exhale. Blow your nose at the end. And then twist and exhale, blow your nose at the end. Okay, with that, let's come to the hula hoop rings, and then we draw circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So again, watch how the body is rotating around the still center. Observe that. Observe from that still center how the mind is giving instructions to the body to go turn left or turn right. And somebody's making those decisions. The mind makes those decisions, but the Purusha just observes. Okay, come to the knees. And then we're going to go smaller circles this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then sit down. Sit down. And inhale. And sit down again. Exhale as you go. Keep your knees together. Don't let them go like this. Keep them together. And all right, very good. So we will get into the Surya Namaskar mode. So stand in the front of the mat, about 8 inches from the front edge, or whichever front side you want to. Typically, you want to face east in the mornings and face west in the evenings. Okay, if you're doing that in the evening. So join your arms and your palms and rest your chin. Rest your chin onto the index finger. Close your wings, not tight, everything is loose. And this is a version of Tadasana again, where you're just balancing on your feet. And you are in the Samasthiti. Samasthiti. Sama means balance. You're in that balanced pose. And close your eyes. Let's gather ourselves again and be seated firmly at the solar plexus and see how the circle is going to deform, whether it becomes a square or an ellipsoid or cuboid, whatever it becomes, it always has the centroid. that center can become the centroid, but we just call that centroid, but that point never changes if you really think about it. In whichever direction we might expand, whether it's a circle or a sphere, the point is always that point. See how the body goes around, those subtle changes. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tatvam pushan apavrunu satyadharmaya drishtaye. Om Ram Mitraya Namaha. So from the Samasthiti, we're going to start pushing our hands downward. Keep the heels of the palms connected while the hand is moving down to the navel. And then let the hand go out and push your hips forward. So, and look at your own thumbs. And inhale. And so today we're going to also keep an eye on what is the inhalation and exhalation in the poses. So people ask me these questions. So it is important to understand that when you're folding, you inhale, or when you're moving from one pose to the other, you inhale. And when you reach the peak of that pose, you exhale. Okay, so right now I'm exhaling as I'm folding. So at the peak of this pose, I'm fully exhaled right now, right? So if I want to now take another inhalation, I'm going to make the move, make the left leg go back, inhale in the interim. And when you come to Ashwasanchalanasana, exhale, look straight ahead and observe from that center how that circle or the sphere has deformed. And then relax the pelvis, this area here, relax it. So when you relax it, you will realize that it is probably going deeper into the pose. So when you do this and when you relax, it's going to settle down even further. And further relax it and uncurl your toes at the back. And you can go a little bit deeper. And just look. Look from that center. Just look. The moment you will pass any judgment, the moment you will label something that you're looking at, the mind is fogged. There is a thought in the mind. But if you just look with open focus, the mind tends to calm down. And then take in, now I'm going to make another move. So I'm going to breathe in and breathe out at the peak of the position. Now you may want to do Ujjayi breathing while breathing out. So every time you exhale, you constrict your epiglottis. So here you keep the body straight and exhale with epiglottis constricted. So you should be able to hear yourself. And then I'm going to make the next move. I'm going to put my knees down. Exhale as you fold in. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Get a nice stretch. Don't move your hands. The hands stay where they are. Exhale, exhale, and exhale. Keep stretching. Keep stretching yourself. Exhale. And then at the peak of the stretch, put your head down. And let the forehead rest.
And keep extending your spine. The idea of keeping the hands where they are is you're going to extend the spine. And that extension is very important because, as we age, we are losing the fluids in those discs between the vertebrae. And to generate more activity over there in terms of blood flow and lymphatic fluids and all kinds of fluids, um, you stretch that spine and gain back that youthfulness again. So here we go. Extend, keep extending. So the goal is to put your butt on the heel without moving the hands. And then breathe normally. Inhale and come up. And curl your toes at the back and exhale. Put your chest down and your chin down. Breathe normally. Breathe out through Jai. And come up. Inhale and come up. And exhale at the peak of the Sarpasana. Make sure your knees are not touching. So the knees are not touching like Bhujangasana. So put the knees up and then look up. And don't let your shoulders collapse like this. Put them up like this. And then inhale and come up to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Sumeru Asana, Parvatasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And these are all just thoughts in the mind. Each label, each name of the asana is nothing but a thought. Even a label is a thought. You're not processing it, but there is this memory behind that is pulling one label after the other. And the Purusha from the navel is just observing what all is happening in the city. There might be good deeds happening, bad deeds happening. And the entire city of trillions of cells is doing these poses. And the blood is gushing in every different direction, whether that's an ambulance or the police. It depends what's going on in the body at that point in time. So let's now rise on your toes. Rise as much as you can. Put that bummy up in the air as much as you can. Rise. And then start pushing with your hands. Start pushing. Start pushing. And rise and push. And then put your heels down. And look at your own navel. And then put your knees down again. And then exhale. And then come to the relaxing position. But mind you, it appears to be relaxing, but it is stretching the spine. It is elongating the spine. It is getting that stretch, which is really good. And very few times we put the head below our hearts. And so the head gets all nicely irrigated. And by folding the legs, it restricts the blood flow on the other side. And so the brain gets a nice bop. All the memories become stronger. And then come up again, inhale and come up. Just by these few exercises, you may be realizing that you're already breaking sweat. Okay, just simple movements. Okay, we're not doing anything crazy, just simple. All right, so now I'm going to put my left leg in between the two hands. Because the left leg went back first, so we're going to bring it back. All right, uncurl your toes at the back and then push your hips in. Now, when I say push your hips in, let the mind instruct the body, and we are not the doers. The Purusha is not the doer, it's just the witness of whatever is happening at the periphery of that circle, whatever is happening in the center, in that city, the city called the body, whatever it might be happening there, gross pain, subtle sensations, tingling sensation somewhere, sweat is breaking on the forehead, and whatever might be happening is happening in that city. And the Capitol Hill is calm and composed. That Purusha is composed. It never moves from that center, because center can never move. If it moves, then it is not the center. So that witnessing element is witnessing the mind and the body going through all these kind of positions, this deformed circle, deformed sphere. No matter what happens out there, the center never moves. And so that observing element inside, that Shiva inside, watches the Parvati moving around, and that Prakriti is moving around. We just drew a big arch with our hands, and we defined that circle again, the outer boundaries of it. And we're going to push the hips, and we're going to come back, exhale. So everybody got this idea today about what is the circle, what is this Purusha, what is this city. And it's important to understand these concepts in yoga, because without the understanding, there is no progress. If you're in the class and if we don't understand what the teacher is talking about, there is no progress internally. So with this understanding today, if we practice and go through this class, someday we'll be firmly grounded at that center. We'll never, ever move. We will never, ever associate ourselves. That's the right word. That Sakshi element is right now associating itself with the mind and body. If I can use the word Atma, that Atma is associated. There is that bondage through the association, thinking that this center is the mind and body itself. But in reality, it is not. So we have to come to this realization. That is self-realization. There is nothing else. The self-realization is nothing else but the detachment of the mind, body, and the center. The moment we understand this, the moment we come to that realization, everything becomes calm. Everything is composed. Whatever you do, we just walk and that walking changes. We just talk and the talking changes. We do anything in life and everything has a different meaning altogether. So that is the goal of yogic system, all right? To come to that, come home, the coming home about establishing ourselves in this center right now. Here we go. So this is why Krishnamurti says it's a pathless land, because the center never moves. We think that we are moving, but the center really never moves.
If it is moving, then it is not the center. So if you're coming home, back home to the center, then that center is just witnessing everything. All right. So let's go to the other one. Om Hrim Ravaye Namaha. And then slide your palms down and out and over. We're touching the tip of the center now at the outside periphery. We're drawing an arch at the back from the center of the navel. And inhale, and then we're bending forward. We're again traveling along the periphery of the center of the circle. And we are now coming to the 5:30 or 6:30 position. All right, so here we are. This time you're going to take the right leg back and observe the mind instructing the body. Observe that dispassionately. And then take the left leg back. Okay, so come to the position right here. And then we're going to put the knees down. Do not move the hands. Stretch as much as you can. And then rest your forehead. And come up and curl your toes and then put your chest and chin down. The sequence is to put the chest first. I take that back. The sequence is to put the chin down first, then the chest. Okay. And then come to Sarpasana and come to Adho Mukha Svanasana. And see if you can touch your feet by putting a little bit more pressure on either of the legs. And again, let's not deviate from its center. See how the mind is instructing the body to go from left to right, right to left, left to right, right to left. And then look at your own navel. And then push with your hands. And then go deeper. The goal is to touch your forehead down there someday. Just touch it. And then come to Shashankasana. And then breathe in. And I'm going to put my right leg up. And come to Ashwa Sanchalan. Ashwa is that wild mind, that untamed horse, the Chitta Vritti. The Patanjali refers to Chitta, Man, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankara, the four parts of the mind. So the horse is that wild horse, which is the Chitta, which is the subconscious, where we have no control. When I say we have no control, the mind, the conscious mind, has no access into the subconscious. That door to the basement is closed, it is locked. I cannot get into my basement to clean it up.
and I don't know what is inside the basement. And so the Purusha is the only entity that can scan the basement, observe the basement. Only the Purusha has the access to it. And that Purusha is like a flashlight. That flashlight can access the basement and dispel the darkness from there. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrutyurma Amrutam Gamaya. That's the mantra. That's what the Rishi over there is praying for, is Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Take me from that darkness to the light. Take me from that ignorance to the bliss. Okay, so we've just done 2 Surya Namaskars. We're going to now convolute that circle a little bit more. And let's see what we can do. So, Om Rum Suryaya Namaha. We're going to speed it up a little bit. And exhale as you go down. Now we're going to come to the Samakonasana. If we are going to stop at the Samakonasana, make sure you don't have any low back issues. If you do, pull your hands back to the heart center. Okay, so you reduce the load, but then what you do is you connect your elbows to each other like this. And then see if you can put them on your knees. Okay, put them on your knees and then cup your face. This will relieve. So first of all, what we have to do when we are coming down, you're going to push your, something happened here.
Still got you.
You guys can still see me?
We are hearing.
We're fine. I'm fine.
I'm
I
fine.
know I can't see myself on the computer. Hold on a minute. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Okay, so we were at this point. So I was going to explain how to not bend and round off your back. So what you have to do is when you're here, put that tailbone out in that direction. So push yourself like this, okay? That. And so the farther you're going to push that, the more you're going to bend from your pelvis. So push it in that direction, push, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing the bummy in that direction. And then come to Samakonasana. Now here's what's happening here is by putting the hands out, I'm exerting pressure on my low back, which could be potentially dangerous for people who have vulnerable low back. So I suggest that you put your hands out and then put them on your knees and then cup your hands. So what this is doing is going to not let the knees bend. And because of this 45 degrees here, is going to relieve the pressure from the low back. All right. So that's why we are doing this. So here we go. And relax here. Okay. There is relax, meaning just scan the body from that still center. And that scanning itself will calm all the muscles, all the trillions of cells in the body, they will calm down. We're not trying to create another storm. We're just managing the body, managing the city. So we're just going and just doing the management. So we're managing the low back, we're managing the knee, we're managing so that our chin is pushed in that direction so that the head is always staying upward like this. And what that does, when you raise your head, the back tends to straighten out, okay, while pushing the bummy in that direction. So your tailbone is going that way, your head is going that way, and here we are. Okay. And then grab your both the toes. And then here's one more thing we can do here is bend your knees now. We're asking to bend so that the chest is coming closer to the upper thighs. And then see if you can grab your elbows from underneath. Grab the elbows. Okay. Bend your knees and grab the elbows from behind. And then see if you can stretch. Straighten your knees slowly, slowly, slowly. Come to a point where you can tuck your head and almost touch your forehead to the knees. It's okay to bend the knees here because you're grabbing the elbows, you're bringing the chest forwards. You're bringing the chest, you're collapsing the chest onto your thighs. And then by grabbing the hands like this, we're going to now straighten slowly, 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 tuck your head in and just be here. You see what we're doing? We're relieving the low back, but we're stretching the hamstrings. And then put your palm down, straighten the knees completely. You will notice that you have come deeper into the pose, whereby almost somebody can touch the palm down. I can touch my thumb down and the 4 fingers. All 5 fingers are on the ground. There you go. This could be another good way of manipulating this so that you're outsmarting the hamstrings, because the hamstrings are stronger than your lower back muscles. They're super strong. And so what happens is we pull our back muscles, low back muscles, because we are trying to wrestle with the hamstring. It can never win. So you have to work around it. You have to trick the hamstrings. All right, here we go. And then I'm going to put my left foot back. Okay. Put the left foot back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right leg on the outer edge of the mat. So I'm going to put my right leg to the outer edge, the farther edge. All right. And then I'm going to put my hands in between, meaning like the hand and then the 2 hands right here. And then that knee at the back, push it back. See if you can slide even more by an inch, it will matter, okay? And then I'm going to slowly, 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 slowly get down and uncurl your toes. That will matter too, okay? So you'll get more space there. All right, so let's just keep going. If you want to use the block, I would say grab the block and put your elbow on the block. And then grab another block and then put the other elbow on the block. And the right leg will tend to move outward. It is going to tend to move outward. Let it do it. Let it do its thing. Don't bother it. All right, so here we go. So, and then stay here. This is, in the West, we call it the crooked monkey. And this is a hip opener, which is really, really important in achieving some other asanas. So if you feel comfortable here, you can let your elbow rest down and take both the blocks out and settle down. Okay, and then I'm going to push with the hand and see if I can move my leg, the foot, to the center of the mat now. Bring it to the center and then put this hand under so that my shoulder is almost touching the knee. And then see what happens. It's a different, muscles are getting engaged. And let the right leg fall down, it's okay. And be here. Okay, then come back to where we were. Put the feet and then go back to the normal Ashwasanchalan and look straight ahead. And this time look up and then take the right leg back. Take the right leg back into and then rest your knees down and relax. Exhale. Exhale through Jai. See how the body is exhaling. We are not exhaling, the body is exhaling. So observe that. And then tuck your head inside. Inhale and come up. And then spread your legs in line with both the hands so that you form a 90-degree here, 90-degree at the back. And your hands are directly below your shoulders. So you come to a tabletop position. And I'm going to move a little bit forward and come to the tabletop. And then here we can practice the Ujjayi breathing again. Uncurl your toes at the back and exhale here and look up, raise your chin, raise that chin as much as you can. See how the mind is asking the body to behave. The mind has all the intelligence. The body has primitive intelligence, which is the parasympathetic nervous system that takes care of the digestion and other processes in the body, but the body cannot think. The mind can think for the body. And the mind instructs the body to be in this pose. And it instructs the chin to be raised up and look up and exhale and round off your back. Touch your chin to the chest. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Take your left foot out. Left hand out and right leg out. And exhale and touch the elbow to the knee and go out again. And see if you can grab the left ankle and keep twisting. Keep pulling that and keep twisting. Open your chest up and look up and let it go. And then let's do the opposite side. Right hand goes out, left leg goes out. And exhale. And we are creating a different kind of storm in the body now. Again, not quite the Katrina, but maybe Andrew. So that Andrew is creating storm again. Your heart rate is going up. Your breath rate is going up. And then we're going to put that right hand out again, left leg up, and then hold the ankle of the left leg. And then twist in the opposite direction. Twist. Open the chest up. Okay, wonderful. All right, very good. And then see, with this position, can you put the chest between the two hands? See how far you can take it. Oh. And come up. And see if you can do it again. And come up. And then this time, take your right hand in and put your entire shoulder down. And feel the twist on the right side at the mid back. Feel that twist. There is ruckus happening in that part of the city. People are running around. Suddenly the whole gravitational force is going in the other direction. And it's difficult over there. And it's okay, the Purusha just observes that there is ruckus in the back. There is ruckus in that part of the city. And come up. And then put your right hand up and then put the left shoulder down this time and create ruckus on the other side. And now the people on the other side are running in that direction. And the Shiva just observes. He doesn't even smile, he just observes. He just takes note and does nothing. And does the center never moves from its center. The center is always grounded no matter what happens. And we come to this pose, and then we're going to move back and then take the left leg out and then put your chest down. And then grab it. And come up. And then we're going to take the right leg up this time and then go down and grab it. Very nice. So we'll do the Vyagrasana. Vyagra is the tiger pose. So get to the tabletop again and then put your left leg out and fold it. Fold it. Fold it. fold it. There you go. And let's do the right side. Fold it and then bring it up. So when you're bringing this up, do not touch it to the mat. Make sure the toes are not touching to the mat. So you lift it up as much as you can and fold it, and then go out and fold it again. And synchronize with the breathing. Exhale, exhale. In between you breathe. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Very good. Okay. All right, so this is good. So we were at the moving from our ninth position into Sashtang Namaskar. And then come to Sarpasana. And see if you can look back. Look at your own heels. And come to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. From here, I'm going to go into Kapotasana. So put your right knee by the right wrist and then grab the right leg and make the shin parallel to the mat. And then get onto your elbow, hold the left bigger toe with your hand like this. So it doesn't tend to slip away like that. So you hold it and then put the other elbow down and then tuck your head in. And focus on your breath. Focus the mind on the breath. But the Purusha is observing the mind, that it is focusing on the breath. You are not focusing on the breath. The mind is focusing on the breath. The breath that the body is taking. We are neither the mind nor the body. We are neither the mind nor the body. So that Purusha is looking at this deformed city in which it resides. And maybe the body resides into the Purusha. The mind is a larger phenomena than the body. The mind here and now can in a split second go to New York or go to Sydney or go to the pole of the planet or go to the center of this galaxy or the center of this universe. In a split second, it is faster than the speed of light. But the body cannot do that. The body is inside the mind. And the mind body is inside that circle, inside that center. I know it sounds a little paradoxical, but that is Mrityorma Amrutam Gamaya. The Rishi from the Upanishad is saying Mrityorma Amrutam Gamaya. Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya. And if you rested here enough, let's go back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. And push with your hands and rise on your toes. And push with your hands and rise on your toes. And get onto your elbows. And put your head down. And then come back up. And then take your left knee, put it to the left heel of the hand, the wrist, and then do the opposite. Grab the left toe with the two fingers and push that right leg back as much as you can. Push it back and then come back to, and then rest your head down. Tuck your head in. Do not lose that grip of the two fingers and the big toe of your left foot. And that witnessing element, that witnessing Purusha, the attention that we give. See, the word attention is the exact opposite of concentration. I don't know if we ever think about these things, but attention is not a single focused, single pointed concentration. Okay, so when we give attention to something, we are basically still looking at that object or whatever from a 10,000 foot distance so that we can encompass every possibility there and get this macro vision of whatever is happening in the city, like we're flying 30,000 feet in the air and we see that entire city down there. So attention is like, how do I say this? In the terms of baseball, a fielder who is in the field, or in terms of cricket, the fielder who is on the boundary all the way, that ball can arrive, that ball can come to that fielder anytime. So he has to be alert. She has to be alert all the time with complete attention to the entire field. And it can come from any direction. That's the attention. So the realization of the Purusha, of the self, can literally happen any moment to anybody when there is least expectation. The whole idea of expectation is the cloud. When you expect something, it never happens. Things happen unexpectedly in life. And that's the beauty of life, that it comes to you when you're least expecting it. It comes to you when you're least expecting it. So one has to be attentive all the time. You don't know when that teacher is going to ask you the question. Amongst all the 100 students in the class, if you're not attentive, you cannot catch that question. So you have to pay that attention. All right. So with that, I'm going to put my head down completely. And then gently come up and then look up. And then see if you want to put your hand on the right, on the left, and on the left knee, and the right hand on the left foot, and look up. And see if you want to bend your leg at the back. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Bend it.
and then put it down, and then bend it again, and then put it down, and bend it again, and put it down. These are the beginnings of the Raj Kapotasana. Okay, so the Raj Kapotasana, people can touch their head to that leg, to that foot, complete bend backward like this. Okay, but again, this practice is all about awareness. It's not about performance. It's not about what the body and the mind can do, but it's about maintaining the awareness all the time, maintaining that attention all the time. And attention can lead to thoughtlessness, revealing the Purusha. The entire physical yoga doesn't take us beyond the mind and body. Okay, so it only goes till the mind and body. So no matter what the mind and body does, it can never reach that center. So the center, that awareness, has to come as that ball may come anytime from any direction. Okay, that realization is not up to us. It may happen, it may not happen, but we have to be attentive all the time. Okay, so we are back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then I'm going to put so now this time what I'm going to do is going to put my left leg ahead, and I'm going to move my hand towards here, and I'm going to put my left leg ahead of the hand, and then put my knee down, and then put that leg, see if that toe can almost reach to the front edge of the mat. So my foot is ahead of the hands, and then take a block and another block, and see if you want to put that right leg further out. I know this can be a little challenging. And put the elbow down on the block, and you will realize one side of the body is more cooperative than the other. So be here. If you want to take the block out and put the elbow down on the right side, and come up and take the leg back in between the two hands, and then come to Ashwa Sanchalan. And with that Ashwa Sanchalan, we look straight ahead. And then I'm going to take my right foot up and then put it by the left. I'm going to now again do that same trick. I'm going to tuck my tailbone in that direction. And then I'm going to grab my knees and I'm going to bend forward. And then from the back, I'm going to grab my elbows with the opposite hand. And then see if you can straighten yourself up. Straighten, straighten, straighten. And it's okay if you cannot straighten completely, nothing matters. The mind and the body can only spin on the periphery of that circle. But the calmer the mind and body gets, the easier perhaps it becomes to notice the center. Okay, with that, I'm going to put all the fingers down and straighten my knees out. Okay, very good. Then join your palms and inhale and come up. Inhale and come up. And we are going to the extremities of the circle. And bend. And exhale and come down.
Wonderful. I think that was beautiful. I really enjoyed. Wow, it's already 8:30. I cannot even believe it. Okay, so we are going to skip everything. Today, I don't know what happened. We lost the track of mind, track of time in the search of Purusha.
And lost track of mine. That's good too.
That's true. Okay, so let's just calm ourselves down and then we can all go home. All right. Okay. Sit in Ardha Padmasana. And those who need to leave, please do that. I have absolutely no problems. But I cannot close the session out without the prayer. So sit comfortably, neck and spine erect. Take the glasses off. And observe that the body is breathing on its own accord. The mind is still. The mind is giving no instructions to the body anymore. So the mind has nothing to do. It loses its momentum. And let the breath calm down. Let the storm calm down. Let that circle become to its natural state. Let it come back to its natural state of being a perfect circle. But the center never moved from its position all this while. Whether that circle became the sphere or the cube or the cuboid or whatever shape you can imagine, the crooked monkey, whatever names we can label them, doesn't matter. In the end, nothing matters to be guys. Nothing matters. To that center, nothing matters. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. So, nainam chindanti shastrani, no matter what tool, no matter what arrow or a missile, whatever you can bring, it can never reach that center. It can never cut that center into two pieces. Nainam chindanti shastrani. And nainam dahati pavaka, the fire can never touch it. So the attention is the only way. The awareness is the only way. So if the fire cannot touch it, no law of karma can actually reach that point either, because the karma is of the mind and body. Karma, the siddhant of karma, cannot reach that point. And karma is nothing but physics set forth all the way from the Big Bang. The entire universe is set in motion. The entropy created by the Big Bang has these laws of physics operating on it. And then the finer laws and the finer laws and the finer laws that science will discover someday.
And bring your hands to the heart center. Notice that the breathing has come to its normalcy. Take a deep breath and we'll do the Lagu Lahari Omkar again. Another one. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavaidikena yopakarotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram Shankha Chakra Siddharinam Sahasrara Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Rub your palms. And gently cup your eyes. Do not put any pressure on the eyelids. And look deep inside that basement. Okay, I apologize for going over the time today, but I hope you all enjoyed and it was worthwhile your time. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amit.
You're welcome.